This is Kai, and you can hear, as if on cue, that's Bella, and this is their roadmap to success. Now, basically, the first thing we started off, the reason I'm not working with Bella is she was beaten and abused by a male. And so now she really doesn't like males, but because her guardians want to be responsible, they haven't gotten around a lot of people. And as a result of that, she doesn't have a lot of experience. So the video above this one talks about a lot of things that we can do. Make sure that you really, that you're on that quite a bit. I'd like to see you having a male come over to practice that at least every other day. So I would line up all the people first. Spend a week just finding people that, work on the rest of the stuff that we're going to talk about here in the video, but spend a week kind of lining people up. Meet your neighbors. Find a couple neighbors that would be good, because we just moved in here. I would say we, even though I'm not part of this family. But basically, meet a couple of your neighbors and find some neighbors that can come by. But you'll make hay with momentum. So if you just do it once this week and then you take a week off, it's going to really slow down your progress. I would love to see you doing it every single day. And I bet you'll find some neighbors that would be happy to help you, because nobody wants to have a mean dog living next to them. And so you can have them watch the video above and that halfway point of the video that I marked, and that'll make it easy for them to understand what to do. And do that process. The first process is just walking over there, tossing the treats. Second process is eventually getting closer and tossing them, and just follow the litany of what's in there. Okay, so the rest of the stuff we're talking about here is one of the first things we talked about was exercise. I think these dogs are under-exercised. They're both in their prime, and it's crappy weather out. It's Nebraska in March. And so basically, we talked about using the stairs. We also talked about using a laser, playing fetch, and scent games. Now remember, do all of these things the first time with an empty stomach and count the maximum number so you can find out how many down-ups on the stairs. And each down-up would be 1. And find out what the maximum number is, and then you want to exercise them about 33% to 3/4 of it, basically somewhere, and you're going to play around with the elements. Start that exercise journal. Each day, kind of add an extra. It'll probably be every 2 to 4 hours. I'm guessing for these dogs, probably closer to every 3 hours. Now, when you're at work, you can't come home and deal with it. But if you can come home for lunch, it'd be ideal. If you guys could split shift, one of you is doing it here. If you can't do it, that's fine. Every 3 or 4 hours. But just when you come home, really, while you are here, get as much going as you possibly can. And play around with the elements and the number of repetitions and the number of exercises until eventually, and grade each dog at the end of the day. And at the end of about a month, you should know exactly how much exercise both dogs need. Yes, I know you want the treats that are in my hand, but you're going to have to come over here and be a good girl and just be a prop for a little bit. Sit. She is a goofball. All right, down. Come here. There we go. That's kind of not what I wanted, but there we go. There we go. All right. All right, so exercise is the first thing. The second thing we talked about are rules. We're sitting on a dog bed because one of the rules I suggest is not being allowed in the furniture. If a dog doesn't have any rules, that sees you as doesn't see you as sees you as a peer. If it sees you as a peer, then listening to you becomes optional. So dogs are kind of blue collar. They need to see us actually demonstrating working through our actions. Sitting at a computer is not perceived as work for a dog. So the more that we enforce rules consistently, the more the dog sees us acting like a leader through our actions. And the more that happens, we're going to have to get to a certain tipping point before the dog is actually like, okay, they've got him under control. Every time somebody comes in, I think I'm confident in their leadership. So, and before I forgot when we did the first version of this video, remember to do the maintenance. So for that window, those windows there and over there and the thing on the door, make sure it's on the outside of the window so the dogs can't scratch it up, and lift your blinds up. And you can see and you'll let some sunlight in, but just go to Kinko's and get that big 3 foot by whatever sheet of paper measured out, put it on the inside of the windows. That way, every time they go to the window, they can't get reinforced, I made the person move away. Because every time they bark at somebody's walking by your house, they think they defended your house. That'll make them do it more. If they can't see that, they'll get out of a habit of doing that. All right, so for the rules that we talked about, one of the first rules we suggest is no furniture for 30 days or as long as the problem's still going on. All my clients here is 30 days. So 30 days minimum, but probably more realistically 60 to 90 days or more. We went over how to use a dog bed. I remember to toss the 10 treats in a row. Now for Bella downstairs, she likes to sleep with the guardian on the dog bed. It was very easy to train her. She likes the dog bed up here. So just jump on the bed, have about 10 treats. Every time the Bella gets on the dog bed, touch her to the treat and throw it right there on top of the dog bed. When she jumps down and licks it up, come up with a funny word that means to go to the dog bed, like okaboji or whatever it is. And then just as soon as she walks off the dog bed, throw another one. Now, especially if she jumps on the bed, but if she just walks away, the ideal would be not to have her back on the bed, but just walking a couple feet away, throw another treat. Do that 10 treats in a row. Do that like 3 to 5 times the first day. The second day, and say the word every time, not just for this, but for any command. Anytime you give me a treat, the treat goes in the mouth first, they hear the command word immediately afterwards. And then after you rep this enough, you should be able to say, Florida, or wherever it is, and the dog will go straight to the dog bed. So the 3 ways I do it, the first one is I throw the 10 treats in a row. Then when the dog's not paying attention, I leave a treat there when she's not paying attention. And when the dog licks it up, say the word. Third way is I bring the dog over here, put it into a sit or a down, sit, and then pop the treat in the mouth and say Florida, whatever the word is. Also, leave a bully stick or a kneecap. Anytime the dog's out of the room, the dog should come in their room and find that waiting there for them. If you miss it, even though if you miss it, they still get the reinforcement. So after a while, you should be able to say the word and the dog goes there. So the first day, do it 3 to 5 times with the treat, with tossing the treats. Then when the dog's not paying attention, leave treats and try to leave about 10 treats throughout the day there. And then a bully stick or a marrow bone or whatever it is. And then after a while, it should be easy for you to direct and get her just to hang out there and try to spend some time on your bed. Get on your bed and prop up your pillows to sit in this position and watch a show on your iPad or just read a little bit. And we want her to practice being there when you're awake, because when you're asleep, she's just going to jump back up because that's what she used to. So the more time she practices being down there, the more likely it will be for her to be there. Let me see. Other things, and exercising her before this. Anything the dogs are going to have difficulty with, exercising them beforehand, give them about 10 to 15 minutes to recover will really help increase your odds of having success. It's passive training, which we'll talk about in a sec. Crash, also more passive training. Other rules we talked about, you have to sit before I let you out the door. Say sit once, they have 3 seconds to comply. If they don't, walk away, sit down somewhere, wait 1 minute, ask the Google for whatever it is for 1 minute, and then try it again. Next time walk away for 2 minutes, then for 4 minutes, then for 8 minutes. Keep double length of time, and as soon as the dog sits, boom, open that door immediately as soon as the butt hits the ground. So crash. So that will help the dog. Eventually the dog will sit at the door as its way of saying, I'd like to go out. Eventually I do it both directions. I would do the same thing with the baby gates here or going up the rim of your bed. If you do want to invite her on the bed, eventually she has to sit or do something to earn that privilege. Let me see, what else? Other rules, you can't be allowed to go in the kitchen when we're preparing food. And remember, you microwave the bacon or the roast beef to practice and warm up, and then simulate cooking, and then use those escalating consequences to march the dog out. Now we're real buddies. Also do the same thing when you're eating, microwave some roast beef, and then practice doing that as well until eventually the dog understands when there's food smells, I'm not allowed to go in the kitchen. Let me see, what else? There was something I was going to go over, and it will come back to me. Passive training and petting with a purpose. Crash. Every time the dog organically offers you a behavior or action that you want, pet it within 3 seconds and say the command word. So every time the dog comes to you, pet it and say come. Every time it lays down, pet it and say crash. Every time it sits, pet it and say sit. Name all your toys, except for all balls can be balls, all bones can be bones. But name all the rest of the toys, zebra, Putin, whatever it is. And so after a while, the dog you can say, go get me, purple octopi, and the dog goes and gets you the purple octopus. Go to the green spot, and that's what I forgot and I remembered. Go to the green spot. I would probably get the water buffalo horn online or on Amazon or Chewy. Make sure it's solid. If it's thin like a horn, set it back because your dogs will split to them. You want it pretty durable. That is it'll smell funky for about a week to 10 days, and then it won't smell. So just deal with it or make the dog do it somewhere a little bit further away. Do you guys have antlers? Mm-hmm. Okay, deer and elk antlers are great. I would also go to the green spot and get some cow kneecaps. They're my favorite. Get some cow's ears, some tracheas, some cheeks, duck's heads, duck's feet, turkey feet, cod skins, esophagus. There's all sorts of different stuff that you'll be able to get. And then again, for you, that's what I would leave on the dog bed for her to get to find on the dog bed. So I'm just going to stay here and eat this. Sometimes, and then let me see. Also, for those sort of things, for the cat, the dogs really like to be with the cat, or I want to play with the cat. I have bad thoughts about the cat. So we might get a wire kennel, something that's durable, that we can exercise the dogs first, put the cat in the kennel, and then have the dog here, but give the dog an amazingly high-value training chewing object to chew on, like a marrow bone or a bully stick or a cow knee. And then try to have the cat far away. So, we exercise them first so they don't have all the beans, all the energy, and then we structure it so they're across the room. We want them to practice being in the room with the cat without attacking the cat. Chewing on things is not going to think it's an analog for the cat. It's just we want them to be preoccupied and not fixated on the cat. Oh, excuse me. I do a lot of talking. Let me see. All right, so passive training is waiting for the dog to organically offer you the behavior that you want. So name all your toys. Every time you take a first bite of food, come up with a, say, piccata or steak or whatever it means. For each dog is its own command word. Do that for about 2 to 3 months for the first bite only. Just say it once. And after a while, the dog will start doing it, eating on command when they hear that word. Every time the dog comes to me, pet it and say come. Every time it sits, pet it and say sit. And remember, stopping petting can also be helpful. So if I'm petting her and she puts her paw on me, that's a domination move. This is a demand for attention. So if I pet her when she does that, then I'm validating, yes, you're in charge of me. So if she does this, I say crash, and then I pet her for crashing, I'm redirecting her to something else. I'm rewarding her for doing what I want. That's actually petting with a purpose. So if she nudges you or demands attention, and I also want you to play hard to get with Bella, because Bella gets petted so often she doesn't even have to ask for it. So we want to start withholding that attention and that affection and making the dog earn it. That will boost the dog's self-esteem. It'll increase their confidence. It will increase their respect for you as an authority figure, and it will help them practice sitting in an easy situation, which will make sitting in a more challenging situation, like when there was a guest, easier. So petting with a purpose, use the word paycheck if somebody's petting without a purpose, and that person has to stop, tell the dog to sit, and then pet the dog. Passive training, kisses. She was just licking me. So when she's licking me, if I pet her and say kisses, every time she licks, I say kisses and start petting her. After a while, that becomes a command word for her. For Bella, the guardian wanted to teach her how to bark. Kisses. And that was a crossover because she was nudging me and licking me. So you might want to not do it when they're demanding attention. Kisses. There you go. And also say it kisses. Don't say kisses. Because that's what will usually happen. The dog will stop doing it and see they're looking for elsewhere. So just say conversational tone is the easiest way to go about it. All right. So for the dog barking, if she likes to bark when she hears the knock at the door, go. And the dog barks and give her a treat. Give her a treat and say talk or speak or whatever the word is. Come up with a new word. And then after a while, you get to the point where you just say speak and she barks. Then you're ready to teach her to not bark. Where you say speak, she goes woof. You give her the treat and say speak. Then you say quiet. Give her the treat and say quiet. She doesn't know to be quiet, but eventually through enough repetition she'll figure it out. And all these exercises are all based on repetition. The more you practice, the better they will get. Now keep your training. Puppy, puppy, puppy. Yes, you had a good breeder. That's what breeders, they call the puppy call. They say puppy, puppy, puppy. And then they bring out the food. And most dogs, if they had a good breeder, will come for the rest of their life every time they hear that. Okay, remember when she's being naughty, quote unquote naughty, or if she's nudging you or doing things we don't want, that's probably her way of saying, I need some exercise. So give her that 5 or 10 minutes of exercise sprinkled throughout the day. That's going to be huge for you guys. Now, also when you're training your dog, try to keep training less than 90 seconds. If we go beyond the 90 seconds, they'll start getting more failures. The more failures you get frustrated, the dog gets frustrated and won't want to do it. One of the things I didn't talk about before, but I'd recommend you guys do, go to YouTube. Search easy dog tricks or just dog tricks. And don't make it too complicated, too hard. What I'd like you guys to do is each one of you guys on Sunday this week, you're going to teach both dogs to do a command. Maybe bang your dad or roll over or whatever it is, not shake. Don't practice the shake anymore. And then all week long, you come up with the command word and you practice that over and over and over again. Every time she wants a treat, she has to roll over. You want to go outside, roll over. You want my attention, roll over. By the end of the week, you look at the dog, it's rolling over. Then the next week, the other guardian takes over and teaches both dogs and teaches, hey, puppy, puppy, puppy. She's like, I'm getting in your bag. Come here, sweetheart.
Kai.
Kai.
Down.
There we go. Go get the ball. And then the next week, the next guardian teaches a trick. Just go to YouTube. All these trainers will teach you how to do it. Just make sure it's a positive reinforcement way. The guardians here are all about positive reinforcement, which we love. But if each one of you commits to teaching the dogs 4 new commands, That's 8 new tricks or commands that will really boost their self-esteem and confidence, and it'll make it and it'll help them respect you a little bit more as authority figures. I think both these dogs see you guys as peers, and so the more that you get help enforce that leader-follower dynamic through enforcing rules, but also teaching them new skills and rewarding them at the right times for the right things, is going to make it easier for them. All right, so petting with a purpose and pass training, use paycheck. If somebody's petting without a purpose, and say recognize or reward or what booty for pirate treasure, whatever it is, when the dog, people are doing something, the dog did something we like, so that we can motivate them or reward them for doing that. Do the bacon thing for the kitchen, practice that, do a warm-up, microwave your bacon, then simulate cooking, and then eventually when the dog lays down, then you can go ahead and do a real cooking. The dog won't know the difference. Remember to use those escalating consequences just for you guys though. Rush towards the hiss and rush towards the dog. After a while, you won't even have to, and they'll stay away from you when you're eating. Let me see, is there anything else? The focus exercise. Remember, focus for the exercise. And I have videos on my website if you forget how to do that, but really practice the heck out of that for the first week. Remember, 15 seconds by the end of, so it's Thursday. By next Thursday, they should have both dogs should have a 15-second command anywhere in the house. Next step is to practice outside or in the backyard. Does she have to maybe potty?
Her ball's underneath.
Oh, okay. And you can, a little trick for that is if you get a cardboard box that fits underneath it, it just keeps it from getting in the area they can't reach. So if this happens a lot, it just makes it easier. Let me see. I'm trying to think, what was I just saying? Focus exercise. Remember, 15 seconds in the house, and then go to the garage and practice in there, but go back to 1 second, 1 second. And then you can move faster at that point. Get to 15 seconds in the garage, then practice outside in the yard, and then eventually we'd like to practice on the walk. Now, we would like to come back, and either I'll come back or have one of my female instructors come back and work on teaching the dog to walk with a loose leash, or we might just send you videos and have you guys start working on it yourself. But it'd be nice if you could actually start walking the dogs together. Guardians like to get the dogs together, and walking is something I talked about in the other video, but also dogs get over things by walking, by moving forward. So when we teach them to walk with a loose leash next to us, when you do this, you have to have all the dogs in a line. So if one dog's going to pull in front, that's going to kind of defeat the whole purpose. So really, I want you guys to practice this. It's March 7th. So set a calendar, set an alert on your calendar or for your Google or whatever. Hey, in April 9th, remind us to rewatch this video and the other video again. But remember, for the video above this one, you really want to try to do this at least every other day. So meet all your neighbors and get people lined up first. If you can do it every day, that'd be ideal. The more reps you get, the better she's going to get it. Somebody's going to die if she doesn't get that. That's all right. But if she whimpers like this, and then we immediately get up and go help her, then that trains her. Whimpering gets me to do things. So sometimes it's a pain, but that's why that box would be really helpful. Let me see, what else? Is there anything else I forgot?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, if I did forget anything or forget something you forgot or something stops working, please text me. If I don't hear from you, I assume that means everything's going great. So if there is a question or problem, let me know. What I'd like to do is maybe in a month, we come back and we start working on some behavior adjustment training here. See, that's a little passive training. You gonna give me some kisses? No, I thought you were, but evidently not. She's got some other hot dog in the neighborhood's gonna get her kisses. All right, so make sure you let me know if you have any questions or problems. This is downstairs is Bella. This is Kai, and this is Bella and Kai's roadmap to success. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you mean it.